What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. Before I get started, as usual, I hope everyone is doing okay out there, taking every day one day at a time, living life the best way you know how as well. As for me, y'all know how I do. I'm doing pretty good on this end, can't complain too much. I'm also taking every day one day at a time, living life the best way I know how as well. So, 30 years ago today, Raekwon, aka Lex Diamonds, released his classic debut album, Only Built for Cuban Linx, guest starring Ghostface Killer, aka Tony Starks. Longtime fans will remember that at this point in 1995, my favorite year in hip hop, as you all know, the Wu were one of the hottest crews in the game, creatively exceeding all expectations and then some. 1993 saw the release of their classic debut album, Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, which is also my number 3 favorite album of all time. Meth dropped his debut in 1994 to Cal, and when we got to 1995, they continued to dominate. The late ODB released his debut in March of that year, returned to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version. Of course, Raekwon dropped his debut on August 1st of that year, and Jizza came through later in the year with his debut, Liquid Swords. So already the track record was phenomenal, and before I get to Cuban Links, allow me to share some stories because y'all know I got some. At this time, I was in the 5th grade, believe it or not. I turned 11 on June 25th, and with glaciers of ice, heaven and hell, incarcerated scar faces, and of course, ice cream making all kinds of noise, I couldn't wait to get my hands on this album. And I remember one of my homies at the time would be rapping incarcerated scar faces all the time, so much so that even I went crazy off that. And in September, this is when I started the 6th grade. And another one of my homies, and if he's listening, he knows this story, had this on cassette. I didn't have my own, so I wasted no time asking him to dub me a copy. He agreed to it for a small fee, and I believe it was either $1 or $2. The next day or so, I got on the bus. He had the tape in his hand with a big smile on his face. I paid him the money, and I got my tape. So, of course, when I got home, I played it, and even though the overall quality of the recording was not the best, I didn't care at all. I fell in love with the album, enjoyed it from start to finish, and it has been part of my collection ever since. I've had several copies of the CD. I currently own 2 copies of it. I also own the purple tape and a clear version of it, too. These memories, man, I tell you. And with all this being said, it is now time for our feature presentation. In addition to Ghostface Killer guest starring on this album, we have the RZA, aka Bobby Steels, who produces all of the songs on this album, and I'm going to have a lot to say about the production as well. We have Jizza, aka Maximilian, Inspector Deck, aka Raleigh Fingers, You God, aka Golden Arms, Method Man, aka Johnny Blaze, Master Killer, aka Noodles, Nas, aka Nas Escobar, no doubt, and Capadonna, aka Cappuccino. Also, to this day, I'm not sure why ODB was not part of this album, and I still often think about which song would have best suited him on here. It's always been interesting to me. And of course, there were two firsts. Number one, this album marked the first guest appearance by a non Wu Tang artist in the form of Nas. And number two, Wu Tang were also the first artists to utilize and popularize the use of aliases in hip hop. And of course, it was copied afterwards, but that was hip hop at the time. And quite frankly, it's still like that today, but on a smaller scale, a way smaller scale. Quite a bit of history going into this landmark album, to be sure. Then we get into the album. Like I said, it was released on August 1st, 1995, 30 years ago today. We start with the opener, Striving for Perfection. This intro right here, it sets the tone for the album. Ray and Ghost, they're pondering their lives at the time and how they want to proceed in their future. And although they clearly know what type of life they're involved in, they want out in the worst way possible, or should I say the fastest way possible. And as later mentioned by Ghost, quote unquote, it's all about money, hoes, designer clothes, and shows. Y'all know what I'm talking about, as well as the unpredictable life of crime and drugs. And this intro, it serves as quite the storyline for all involved, a hip hop crime slash mafioso saga to the fullest. And from there, we go into song number 2, Knuckleheads, featuring Ghostface Killer and You God. We head right into our first banger, detailing everything about why these guys are knuckleheads in true Wu fashion. Ghostface says, "Congratulations, chef. Let's celebrate and stiff an eighth." This song gets a 5 out of 5. And speaking of 5 out of 5, that brings me to song number 3, one of my favorites on the album, Knowledge God. And longtime Wu fans, y'all will remember on Iron Maiden from the Ghostface Killer Iron Man album, Ghostface said the violin on Knowledge God sounded ill. It was true then and it's true now. Like I said a few moments ago, this is one of my favorite songs on the album, as well as one of my favorite RZA beats. I do feel that the title it speaks for itself, along with the quote unquote colorful slang on full display from Raekwon. And again, 5 out of 5 for this classic. Song number 4, Criminology featuring Ghostface Killer. This is another classic banger right here. Ray and Ghost, their chemistry, among some of the best in hip hop history, is taking up several notches, and the end result is rather impressive. And Ghostface Killer's opening verse is pure fire, and Ray ends it on a high note as well. Goes without saying, this is a 5 out of 5 song, no doubt about that. Song number 5, Incarcerated Scarfaces. Interestingly enough, I'm not sure why it took me so long to know what and who Raekwon was referring to when he said peace to incarcerated Scarfaces. It didn't hit me until a few years down the road, surprisingly. But in any event, this is another classic banger with Ray continuing to drop colorful gems over a slamming RZA beat. This is another 5 out of 5 song. And dare I say, this is probably up there in terms of one of Raekwon's best lyrical performances on the mic. We can always talk about what that would be, but I think Incarcerated Scarfaces is up there with quite a few others. Next up, we have song number 6, Rainy Days, featuring Ghostface Killer and Blue Raspberry. Normally, whenever I'm asked what my favorite song on this album is, this song is usually one of the first ones I mention if I don't say Knowledge God first. You get what I'm saying? Rainy days, we all have them, literally and figuratively, but it's all in how you maintain and stay strong throughout. And Ghostface notes in this song, waiting on these royalties takes too long. It's like waiting on babies. It makes me want to slay thee. Yeah, I get what he's saying. 5 out of 5 for this song, and it's just as dope as the remix. The remix came out in 1996. I think that was a B-side to something. I can't recall what the song was, but it hit mixtapes that year. Still dope today also. Song number 7, we have Guillotine Swords featuring Ghostface Killer, Inspector Deck, and GZA. And of course, I got to do this one, y'all. Pardon me. Poisonous paragraph smash your phonograph in half and be the inspector deck on the warpath. First class leaving mics with a cast, causing records like the aftermath when guns blast. Run fast, here comes the verbal assaulter. Rhymes running wild like a child in a walker. I score from the inner slums abroad, and my thoughts of razor sharp like the mic from the core. First criticized, but now they have become mentally paralyzed with hits that I devised. Now I testify, the best is I rebel I, and your highness, blessed to electrify with voltage of an ill. Truth that I reveal will crush the amateurs who scream they keep it real. Caesar black down, hooded up in fatigue. Part-time minor leagues receive 3rd degrees. Attack like a wolf pack once I pull back to guard you and bust through like a fullback. Yo, you 14 karat gold slump computer wizard. Tapping inside my right vein causes blizzard. Y'all, don't get me started up in here. I love this song. And again, Wu dopeness right here, personified. Like I always said, Deck, he starts this song off proper and just kills it completely. And I always said that this man knows how to deliver an opening verse. He's one of the kings of that. And Raekwon, Ghostface, and GZA, they're not too far behind at all with their dope verses. 5 out of 5 for this classic. Next up, we have song number 8, the remix to Can It Be All So Simple featuring Ghostface Killer. This type remix, it builds largely on the strength of the original, which is also a classic from the first Wu-Tang album. With everything that's taking place, you just have to ask yourself that one question. Can it be all so simple? Heads were asking that in 1993. Heads were asking that in 1995, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us are asking that in present day 2025. Next up, we have song number 9, which is really an interlude. This, for those who own the cassette, this is what starts side B or side 2. This is a rather famous skit, so of course I got to talk about it just a little bit. So in short, Ray and Ghost, they call out those who were biting in hip hop at the time, and there was a lot of that to be sure. Specifically, although they don't mention any names, they call out the late Biggie for copying Nas's Illmatic idea in terms of using the child photo for the album cover. And to be fair, Nas did start this, and of course, we've seen many instances where other artists, they put their kid photo on the front of their album covers as well. Ghost's tone was more competitive rather than malicious, I think. And overall, the skit, it made two things perfectly clear. Number one, don't bite or sound like Ghost or anyone from the clan. And number two, in the words of Ghost, quote unquote, keep it real, get your own shit, man, and be original. And that's what it's all about. Next up, we have song number 10, Ice Water, featuring Ghostface Killer and Capadonna. We get one of the first introductions to Capadonna, then known as Cappuccino, as well as a memorable opening verse from Ghost. Y'all know what it is. Check out the rap Kingpin, the Black Jesus. Y'all know that verse. Continued dopeness, 5 out of 5 for this classic. Speaking of classics, that brings us to song number 11, Glaciers of Ice, featuring Ghostface Killer, Master Killer, and Blue Raspberry. To start this, we get that funny skit with Ghostface talking about the Wallaby clock shoe, which he did make famous, along with a slew of other designs he was going to create that summer. I'ma rock niggas this summer. On the real, y'all know what I'm talking about. From there, we head right into this incredible track, and I always love how Ray starts this off. He come in when the beat drop. Yo, check it. Yo, stand on the block, bebop, gun cock, avalanche rock, get paid off, mass murdering services, chef break 'em. Y'all know, classic. I love this joint right here, and it bangs on the system. No question. 5 out of 5 for this one. And of course, the 5 out of 5 songs, they clearly continue, and we get the song number 12, Verbal Intercourse, featuring Ghostface Killer and Nas. What more could be said about this classic? Nas, he blesses this one with one of the best verses of all time, certainly one of his best, and for the first guest spot from a non-Wu artist, he didn't disappoint at all. All three MCs, they dropped jewels here, and it's one of my favorite collaborations, and like I said, 5 out of 5, and y'all know I gotta do this one. Through the lights, cameras, and action, glamour, glitters, and gold, I unfold the scroll, plant seeds that stampede the glow while I'm deceased. By then the beasts arise like yeast to conquer peace, leaving savages to roam in the streets, live on the run. Police paying me to give him my gun, trip my wisdom with the system that imprisoned my son. Smoke a gold leaf for whole heat, nonchalantly, I'm raunchily, but things I do is really never haunts me. Wow, funny style niggas rolling the pile, boost the head's profile, and the bust the rikers out, holding weed inside their pussy with their minds on the pretty things in life. Props is a true thug's wife. It's like a cycle. Niggas come home, some will go in, do a bullet, come back, do the same shit again. From the womb to the tomb, presumed the unpredictable. Gun salute life rapidly. That's the ritual. Dope ass verse. Again, one of the best verses of all time and one of Nas's best verses of all time. Damn straight. We continue on with song number 13, Wisdom Body. This was a Ghostface Killer solo spot. And when it came to the ladies, you knew what to expect when you got Ghost on the track talking about them. The song may have been meant for laughs, but I'm sure he meant every word he said. I give this one 4 out of 5. Next up, song number 14, Spot Rushers. I read that Ray was not a fan of this beat. I'm not sure why, because it was always pretty good to me. And it sounded like something straight out of a Coogee rap book. And we get some fine storytelling from Raekwon, something he would come to be known for out of the Wu. I give this one 5 out of 5 as well. From there, we move on to song number 15, Ice Cream, featuring Ghostface Killer, Method Man, and Capadonna. Watch these rap niggas get all up in your guts. French vanilla butter pecan chocolate deluxe. Even caramel sundaes are getting touched, scooped in the ice cream truck. Who tears shit up? And who said the Wu didn't love the ladies? This classic was one of the best songs of 95, featuring largely dope verses from all involved. Now, Raekwon's verse then and now leaves me scratching my head, but it's all good. It's still a dope song with a memorable hook from Meth. 5 out of 5 for this classic. Next up, we got song number 16, Wu Gambinos, featuring Ghostface Killer, The RZA, Method Man, and Master Killer, and using those familiar aliases that I noted at the beginning of this video. All 5 MCs blessed this one, featuring a tight RZA track, basically leaving you one more. 5 out of 5 for this one. Song number 17, Heaven and Hell, featuring Ghostface Killer. What do you believe in, heaven or hell? You don't believe in heaven because we're living in hell. And right there, those two lines certainly can be applied to today's world in a lot of ways, especially in our country right now. Ray and Ghost, they do an effective job painting the verbal picture of the life, good and bad. 5 out of 5 for this one. Last but not least, we have song number 18, North Star Jewels. And if you bought the CD, this closer was a bonus track. I think it should have been on the cassette too because it was a great way to close the album and it was a great song. And before and after Ray's verse, we get some words of wisdom from Papa Wu. Definitely a 5 out of 5 song to close the album. I'll get to my ending thoughts when I close the video, but there's more. All right, so I have the September 1995 Source Magazine issue with Mike Tyson on the front. This Cuban Linx review was written by Nicholas Foloff, and I'm going to read all of this verbatim. Somehow the rap game reminds me of the crack game, said Nas on Illmatic's Represent. This was not the first time the worlds of drugs and hip hop have been compared. For better or worse, they have much in common: fast money, fast females, and the promise of a fast way out of the ghetto. Rappers have often detailed the exploits of their brothers out there slanging, many of them admitting that they too lived foul before entering the music business. Raekwon's solo debut, only built for Cuban Linx, blurs the lines between the two, combining massive lyrical force with the desperation of a hustler who's seen it all and who's ready to go straight, but not before making one last big score. That's that storytelling element that I was talking about. Raekwon has always brought his own special flavor to the Wu cipher. He sprays out lyrics like gunfire, forming vivid tales of life out there on the mean streets of the ghetto. On Cuba Links, a barrage of sound effects, screams, samples, and dialogue conjure up images of a gangster movie, complete with backstabbing hoes, drug deals gone bad, and countless rubouts. Spot Rusher sports a Wu style piano hook and tales of high living and of straight fucking up the competition. Wu Gambino's is all about cold blooded assassinating and features fierce verses from Meth and the RZA. Incarcerated Scarface's details Ray's master plan. Thug related style attract millions. Fans, they understand my plan. Who's the kid up in the green land? Me and the RZA connect. Blow a fuse, you lose. Half ass crews get demolished and bruised. Production wise, this may be the RZA's most impressive feat yet. The beats are all solid, and while many aren't as catchy as those on the previous Wu solo joints, the tracks instead are suited to the distinct flow of the chef who weaves in and out between beats. But there's definitely no shortage of head nodders. Guillotines is as sharp as its title, a true trunk rattler featuring dope verses from the genius and the much slept on Inspector Deck. Glaciers of Ice sports a multi layered sound and a spooky keyboard loop. But what truly sets Cuban Linx apart is the sheer abundance of well-written, complex lyrics. Virtually every Wu MC rips shit, as well as special guest Nas, with only about half the tracks being strictly solo. The end result is one of the best rap LPs of the year, if not ever, and another success for Shaolin's finest. So overall, Nicholas ended up giving this 4 mics and a half, which is a respectable rating. Years down the line, they would change that rating, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit at the end. I'm also going to give my rating at the end, and I think you can all guess what my rating is going to be. But all in all, this was a good review. I'm going to continue with the next review. This one is from Rap Pages. This was the October 1995 issue of the magazine. I'm going to read this one verbatim as well. This was written by Speedy Gonzalez. Interesting name. Damn, where's Mr. T when you need him? This is the part where he's supposed to come in and bark, I pay the fool who don't get down with Raekwon shit. If I were Catholic, I'd probably have to say a zillion Hail Marys and another 1,000 whatchamacallits for being an unbeliever of the mighty chef's skills. But consider me born again after talking only built for Cuban Linx. His solo enchilada is banging. Who said that gangster rappers are a West Coast phenomenon? Built, builds, and in growing epic of cinematic proportion, complete with cocaine snorts, gun blasts, protecting the corner spot, sex for the sport of it, and well, more gun blasts. Only this is all from a God's perspective. The dimension this adds to the proceedings is a dynamic one. You get inside the minds of Lou Diamonds and Tony Stark's, Raekwon and Ghostface new aliases, and see the complexity of their plight, best exemplified in the astonishing criminology, the booming remix of Kenny B, Spot Rushers, and Knowledge God. Much like the main character of Kane in Menace to Society and Biggie in his Ready to Die Odyssey, Ray is threatening, funny, calculated, arrogant, charismatic, talented, so on and so on. In other words, he's human and not some second-rate cartoon character posing as a thug. And Ghostface Killer, staying true to his name, is constantly lurking in the shadows, rhyming and shining on practically all of the tracks. The compelling, chest swelling intro sets the stage lovely for the trip we are about to embark on. The talk of Ray and Ghost getting out the game as serene and sad music floats in the air is in many ways the American dream personified, getting yours at all costs. It feels like a scene right out of a movie and leaves you wide open for the incredible knuckleheads, a head nodding joke right out the gate. It cooks, as does the entire album, the best release from the Wu yet. By the time you arrive at Incarcerated Scarfaces, the concise and sharp rhyme schemes of the chef have already proven themselves to be major league talent. His words slice with precision, and the bloody mess is our enjoyment. The truly creepy structure of Rainy Days solidifies the RZA's status as auteur among amateurs as he orchestrates off-key singing from Blue Raspberry along with a nervous swirl of keys and sounds of children playing. The original Wu-Tang sound keeps growing, even if some of RZA beats do sound similar, but hey, he has done 5 albums in the last 2 years and has established itself as a driving force in hip-hop. Speaking of the family, fans know that the best cuts happen when the killer bees swarm together, and here we got 4-star gems like Guillotine, featuring the one and only Inspector Deck. When is his album due? The reviewer asks. And the godfather of the clan, the genius, who always sews up these lyrical gangbangs with words of wisdom. There's also Wu Gambino's, which marches through toward the end of the saga and features Meth as well as Master Killer. Did someone say record deal? Listening to cuts like these is reminiscent of the truth you get when somebody yelled out fight during lunch, and at no extra cost, Nas Escobar in top form breaks the members only rule, the only Wu related guests on albums directive. On the addictive verbal intercourse, you also get the nastiest Wu joint ever, Ice Cream. From the fly on the wall details of the skits to the colorful descriptions of flashy gold links, Donna Karen gear and 9mm's in the lyrics, Ray serves up a meal hotter than the watch on your wrist, the best shit of 1995 so far. This was a good review by Speedy Gonzalez. He gave it a 9 out of 10, and I do believe that Rap Pages magazine, in a different step from the source also, they rated their albums on a scale from 0 to 10, so getting a 9 out of 10 was just as equivalent as getting a 4.5 rating in the source, and that just tells you how great the album was at the time, and it definitely was the best album of 1995, and that's a segue to my final thoughts. Y'all don't even have to ask. This is a 5 mic album, in my opinion, my number 2 favorite album of all time. And in the Source magazine's 150th issue, they went back and gave this 5 mics. And I think all of us can agree that they should have gave it 5 mics then instead of giving it 4.5. 4.5 is a good rating, but it was clear then, just like it's clear today, that this album was a classic. And it's also one of many albums that I've owned since its initial release. And it's so timeless. It's such a cinematic masterpiece on all levels. And Ray and Ghost, along with the rest of the clan, with the exception of ODB, they delivered in spades on the mic, and the RZA made what I consider to be the best produced album ever. It's a classic in every sense of the word, and it never gets old. And Raekwon, Ghostface, and everybody else involved, if you ever hear this, I can't thank you enough for this classic. And it's one of many reasons why 1995 will always be my favorite year in hip hop history. And this will always be my number 2 favorite album of all time, a classic across the board. If you haven't heard it, I suggest you check it out after you listen to this. If you haven't played it in a while, definitely put the CD in your ride or put it on Spotify or something, because I'm telling you, it has aged well. It's going to continue to age well. And on that note, we're going to close the video right here. It was a pleasure to do this video. I love this album. I always love it. If you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button. And definitely in the comments, let me know your thoughts on the album, any memories you have, any stories you may have, anything. Just let me know and we can always talk about it. You can never talk about this classic album enough. And of course, last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video.